You're especially passionate about great products that, do a great job to almost, they do the marketing for you and then ultimately scaling through customers referring other customers.
It's easier. I mean, so it's selfish. It's the lazy man's way of doing it. It's long-term lazy. It's short-term effort, but it's long-term lazy. Because think about it this way. I could spend 2 years perfecting a book, right? And making it amazing and really pouring my heart and soul to it. And then after that 2 years, release it. And then for the rest of time, have people who buy the book tell other people about the book. And so I spent 2 years, but then from that point going forward, customers market everything for me. And everything that comes in off of the book is profit, right? The flip side is that I spend 2 months writing a book that's decent, but not great. And then I have to spend the rest of my life promoting it. And then in so doing, I also get lots of people to find out that I have a mediocre book. It just makes less sense. But the thing is it just takes so much more time to front load that effort to make an exceptional product or service that most people aren't willing to do it. And so most people's products, like the real big obvious answer of why people don't make more money is they're just not that good. And specifically from an ego perspective, they're just not as good as they think they are.
So how do you, is there a balance, or how do you know when something is ready? Like potentially if you're trying to make something perfect, you can run into procrastination. I'm seeing this right now. I'm working on a second book. I didn't know anyone would read the first book. It turns out a few people read the first book. So now I'm trying to make the second one, even better, because now I'm like, okay, people are going to read this thing. I know you're working on your next book as well. At what point do you know, okay, this is ready?
When for me, there was nothing left to do. Like anything else that I would add or subtract to it would make it worse. Now, that's not always the case. You know what I mean? With like a book is a very defined, literally has bookends, right? There's beginning, ends, and end. But if you have a software product, for example, I share those more from a conceptual perspective as an ideal. But like the idea is to have a consistent cadence where you're improving the product on an ongoing basis, right? And so, but the thing is just front loading that, because until you have the product market fit, until you have a certain percentage of people who are bringing their own friends to try your thing, it's still not right. And so what ends up happening is that, especially if you have a promotion-driven entrepreneur, so somebody who really understands how to market and sell, this is where, I don't want to say it gets dangerous. It's just that you can make a few $1 million, $10 million being really good at marketing and sales. And so you could become a multimillionaire doing that. It's just, you're not going to build like the massive, massive fortune unless the thing you sell is good. And so what happens is most entrepreneurs who are promotional promote too soon. And then they have to fight this uphill battle for the rest of their existence. And the thing is it gets reinforced because they get better and better at marketing. And so they market more and more and more and more. At some point, especially if it's like D2C, so like, direct to consumer products, you go into colder and colder audiences who are less and less likely to buy your thing. And so your cost to acquire continues to rise over time, because also advertising costs only go one way, which is up, just the cost per eyeball. And so you've got multiple forces that are going against you that are decreasing your profitability. And unless you have a concurrent force or something that's going in parallel with that growth, which is your customers bring you other customers to decrease that cost of acquisition, you eventually hit a plateau where you can do lots of revenue and not a lot of profit, and you can't grow from there. And that's where sometimes you have to have hard conversations with an entrepreneur and be like, this thing just isn't good enough. And we need to maybe dial back a little bit. And so like the original idea of getting your first acquisition channel going, whatever it is not to then scale that. The idea is that you get enough customers in that you can get feedback, continue to improve the product. And then once you get enough people referring and bringing friends, which is my litmus test for it is good enough, then you scale it. Now, you still consistently want to make it better and better and better. Absolutely. But a litmus test is, am I getting referrals? Once you have that, then all of your marketing efforts from there on out are going to be enhanced. And then that's what's going to allow you to outcompete your competition who wasn't so long-sighted and always just wanted to make the next buck.